pretty. Ricky taught me more about sex than my mom ever has.
We should treat our bodies more sacred.
It's your whole soul you're giving it to.
Exactly. Guys, get off your phones.
I worked on jobs with my feet in my hand, but all the work I did was for the other man. But now we demand a chance to do things for ourselves. We're tired of beating our head against the wall and working for someone else. Say it loud.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You are now tuned in to Picking Your Own Cotton. We are currently picking our own cotton. This is the all black, blackity black podcast for the black people, for the culture, for the black wealth, black finance, black education, all of the above. We talk about everything black. So my name is Carissa Malcolm X.
This is Brandon.
Nay.
Yeah, so we've basically been picking cotton all day. So how much did y'all pick? Because y'all can't leave the plantation until you got, like a few pounds, 10 pounds. 10 pounds is what it is.
I wasn't on the cotton plantation. I was on the tobacco plantation. Mm-hmm. And I was the top on the plantations.
We don't say nigga here.
Well,
we say Negroes. You Negroes are tuned into the podcast. So I do have an icebreaker here. How much do y'all have to code switch to survive the plantation?
I don't code switch.
Interesting.
Probably why I'm not surviving.
So you're just unapologetically black?
Yeah, but I'm not overly.
That's not allowed in America. You're not allowed to do that here.
Well,
they don't like that.
Well,
what about you, Nay? How much cotton did you pick?
None.
I don't think you guys are getting what this is, like how this works. Like, you got to pick cotton in order to be here.
Nah.
I don't know, like, what's so confusing? The name. Pick your own cotton.
Okay, maybe if you say speak on what you pick, it may just.
Nope. Next topic. Yeah. So code switching. That was the icebreaker. So y'all don't do that. I know y'all do.
I honestly don't know what that is. You gave me some words that I do not understand.
Let me break it down for you right quick. That was gonna be my other icebreaker on another episode. Mm-hmm. What's the saddest black movie? Because I came from Hardball. Hold on, let me break it down for you right quick. That's the saddest movie. Like, what? Okay. But we can't have two icebreakers, so. Anyway, how much do you code switch to survive the plantation? Code switching is when you, like, change your voice for corporate America or your appearance or something about yourself. Like, you gotta tone down your blackness, switch codes, and we call it professionalism. But really, to me, it's just whitewashing. I do it.
Pretty much.
I ain't gonna lie.
You do it?
Not really. Not a lot. But I do it.
I do it because I don't speak loud, so I have to
project.
Speak loud, or maybe actually firmer than what I do when I do speak. But when I don't, it's, yeah.
I used to code switch a lot more for work, I'll say that, but not a lot anymore because I learned what code switching was and I stopped doing it because I was like, what am I doing this for?
Well, maybe I need to. I do it on the phone for sure.
I ain't gonna lie. Today I laid my edges, like laid my hair down. And I wanted to be nappy. That was code switching. I did it.
That's big. That's deep.
But the way I see it, if I show up with naps and you don't like it, I mean, your great-great-great-great-granddaddy should have just picked his own dang cotton. Mm-hmm. Feel me? Because now you got to deal with me and my naps. Feel me? You could have left my ancestors right where they was at. Coming back to Egypt by boat and everything, by ship. Anyway, try to lighten it up for y'all because today's topics are going to be heavy. We're talking about sexualization of black women. But first, I want y'all to peep.
The hoodie's nice.
The hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of heavy topics today. I'm all over the place. Let's start over. I'm just kidding.
No, we're here.
I'm just kidding. We just giving it raw, authentic. It took a long time to set up today. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Like, we've been here for an hour just setting up lights, cameras, and now we actioning. We picking. Now we doing the picking. A lot goes into picking cotton. You don't just hop out there and just start pulling it off the leaf, the plant. You gotta get your
ready. Yeah, stretch.
all of that. Sing. You gotta sing the Negro spirituals because you gotta uplift your spirit. All of my need Jesus.
You just said we don't
Yeshua, come down.
You said we say Negro. That's what you said.
All of my Negroes need
You don't even hit
Jesus.
the same when you say that.
Nate can sing. Did you hear it? Finally
Sing a
got
little
you
note.
on camera.
Sing a little note.
That was a little something.
She can hold a
That
note.
wasn't Not a little rap.
Nah, you can.
Some-
You
some-
carried.
Can we get back
You
to
carried.
the roots?
All right, the rooter. Yeah.
What she
So
say? Black women have sex too much or something.
I'm sorry. Why would you say that?
How
Like-
dare he say that?
I don't know.
Right.
That's
Why
what
would you
she
say
said.
that?
That's what she
No.
thought.
Black women are over sexualized.
Over-sexualized.
Would you say the same thing about Sarah Bartman?
No, Sarah Bartman was forced.
Okay, and so what you're saying is that
I'm
now
not saying
black
anything.
women.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing.
No, you said it. You said okay.
No.
Skirt. Rewind.
I think black women are. I think black men are oversexualized. I think black people.
Black
in general,
people, children too. Nay and I were talking about it last
Yeah.
night. How even black children are being sexualized.
Yeah.
So what does
Yeah.
that mean? I would say in popular culture, be it social media, music industry, all the industries,
Do you think it's because
I wasn't done.
Oh, go ahead.
They're being sexualized, but it started in slavery. White men would sexualize black women. They would make them perform certain things. They were obsessed with their bodies and still are. You know, they want our eggs. They want our uterus. That wasn't meant to be funny.
Right.
The way I said it.
Laughing.
No, she did. She laughed, but it. I'm glad we can laugh, but in all seriousness, that's the truth. You know, that's the truth. So I had way too much coffee today. I'm hyper.
How do you feel about? Do you feel like it's the sexualized as being like women being? Your question. Do you feel like women being over sexualized?
I think that now we're doing it to ourselves.
How? What you mean?
Well, look at Meg the Stallion. I know you said, like we said, we didn't want to name names, but I feel like we have to. Performing for the Democrats, it's like we've gotten so far into it now, because when Obama and them was running, the Democrats wouldn't even try it. But now it's even worse. How many years later? That was 2008. Like, what, 16 years later now? We're at the point where now at presidential campaigns, we have our bodies on display. That bothers me. I don't like that. Because I couldn't see Taylor Swift getting up there twerking or just being naked, and you know what I'm saying? And it's just very degrading to black women. Like, okay, at the highest event in our country, presidential, I wonder if Kamala Harris knows what she signed up for sometimes. Like, do you realize that, like, the position, this is not cute and it's not funny. You're not signing up to be a celebrity. And I know we said we didn't get into politics, but if you like her, fine. Don't hate me because, you know, your emotions, or what I'm saying. Just hear what I'm saying. It's like, seriously, this is a position for a president of the United States, and we're twerking. That hurts me as a black woman, because Meg the Stallion has a degree. You know what I'm saying? She's educated. And this is what even the educated ones produce. All they're good for is their bodies. That's what it says. Yeah. So why are we getting emotional over politics? I get emotional over that. Little girls are looking up to this like, okay, I want to be president. Oh, what does it mean to be president? You shake your butt. You get up there and twerk. Like, that's not okay. So if we're doing this in politics at this point, like, what are we doing? Like, what do kids really have? What do little black girls really have to look forward to other than growing body parts and parading them for white men?
And most likely right now, not most likely, but most likely everyone's getting surgery.
Exactly. They're not even authentic bodies.
I think people are, black women specifically, slowed down with the surgery now. Is now becoming little by little more of the natural. I think they're, getting like the silicone out of their bodies and stuff like that, and going more towards a natural look. But it's still like the twerking has become way normalized and accepted in society than it was in the past, like you said. But what do you guys feel like it's being pushed, like the sexuality towards black women is like being pushed on society? And if so, like how or where do you think it's coming from?
I don't go ahead. You have to.
Yeah, I would say absolutely it's being pushed because I don't think that Meg Thee Stallion decided just, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I think that whoever's behind her pushing this and paying for it is really who's responsible. And like we do here in this podcast, we blame the devil. We don't blame, we don't put the all the responsibility on flesh and blood. But so ultimately we blame the devil. So everyone has a part in that. But I think that it's become too normalized in our community. You know what I'm saying? It's becoming more normalized now. Because like I said, Obama's campaign wouldn't have even tried that. And now 15, 16 years later, why are we even talking about this? You know what I'm saying? It's like they're forcing it on us.
Yeah, I think it was a switch too because like you said, when Obama was in office, even like when Trump was like running, it was like Michelle Obama was looked at as like the image or success of black women in this country.
Exactly.
And now it's like it got in so diminished. I felt like it was rising, and then it got like so diminished and so distorted to now where, like you said, letting people twerk at presidential campaigns on stage. So yeah,
I don't have. I wouldn't say. I don't judge Megan for what she does, but it's just she's just showing black women. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just It's just an image of us black women. Right.
That's the thing I'm concerned about.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What do you guys think about the? I'm asking questions here, not giving my own because you guys are women and we're talking about sexualizing women. So I don't want to give my own opinion because I'm a man.
But you should.
Woman. I'm gonna give my opinion, but I'm not going to give.
I get what you're saying.
Much of it because I can only say so much.
Right, of course.
But what do you guys think about the social media? Social media for, I don't know if it's validation or they just, do it for, the attention or whatever. But there's a lot on social media, on Instagram, even somewhat on Twitter and stuff like that, that women could post provocative things and call it cute or whatever because they know they're going to get a reaction. They know they're going to get so many, views off of that, and then they monetize it and turn it into kind of their own business or a little thing, right? So what do you guys feel on that?
Selling sex sells. There's a market for it. And if we're not going to start our own businesses and have our own thing, we tap into other industries that will hire us, but we want the highest pay, right? If you're going to work, you might as well go for the highest thing. And sex sells a lot. And I wish it didn't, but it did. I wish that Black women would, at the end of the day, know their real value and worth and not put all of it in their bodies. Even though I can make money with my body, my body is more precious than money. So I'm not going to display my body. That's selling out myself and my people, because now little Black girls and boys are looking at my body and thinking, this is the way, this is the right way, this is the normal way,
That's all they see.
Exactly.
Right, so
I mean,
anything
our culture is so sexualized already that if you say you're a virgin, these days, even in high school, people were looking at me crazy. I promise you, this girl in high school literally said, I don't know how we got on this topic, whatever, but I said I was a virgin. She goes, I said I was a virgin. She said, ew. She said, ew. That was her response. And obviously, like, she probably had issues, but, or maybe, I don't know if she was joking. She didn't say the punchline. I'm going to assume she was. But even still, like, why in high school are we even having that conversation in this? And then I had another teacher who told me, oh, well, if you don't think about sex right now, I was 17. If you're not thinking about sex right now, there's something wrong with you. A teacher told me that at an all-Black school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so our community is severely sexualized. It's a crisis at this point. Like, it's a crime. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that teens and kids and young adults have pressure on them to be sexual. Like, it's frowned upon to value your body as something sacred and precious. In our culture, it's not what the cool kids are doing. You feel me?
Yeah, it's like very distorted. It's a wrong messaging. It messed up because it's like, okay, sex is pushed to women as liberation, right?
Exactly.
Like it's pushed towards men as, I would say, like your manhood, or that's how you are in your manhood when you're younger and stuff like that. And there's no correction towards it, and so much that when women started doing it, they view it as equal rights
to men,
to men. But nobody's saying, hey, this is wrong to begin with.
Exactly.
We shouldn't value ourselves. We shouldn't enter into womanhood or manhood by doing sexual things. That should be more. And now this gives us a society or a culture that's way over sexualized, and that promotes single parent households.
It does. Baby mama culture.
Baby mama culture, abortions, and so many different things that now our community is suffering with. And if you tell them that, like, I'm a virgin, or promote anything that's right, it's looked at as this is bad, or you're trying to tell me what I can and cannot do, without ever going back to it and saying, well, is this the right thing to do, or is this
right?
Okay, we should treat our bodies more sacred than we are doing right
exactly.
now. So,
yeah, I'm glad you said that.
That was good.
Yeah. Because it is. It's like, okay, Jordan Peterson says that it's cool there's a thing in the culture where it's cool for girls to play a boys game, but not cool for boys to play a girls game. So meaning, obviously, like boys are allowed to play hopscotch. That's not what it means. It just means that whatever game the boys are playing, it's cool for girls to play that, but it's not cool for boys to go play dolls. They're going to get made fun of and called sissies and stuff like that. So it's true. It's modeled after that, I think, but it did start in slavery, where Black women were being sexualized. Obviously, we know the Sarah Bartman story. If you don't, go look it up. I posted on Instagram recently. if you just want to brief. But I highly encourage all Black people to learn that story, teach your children. They're not going to learn about it in school, because the Sarah Bartman effect is in full effect right now. It's in politics, it's in pop culture, and it's just in everyday talk. You know, kids don't have to go too far to find sex. They don't have to go too far out of their friends group to find it, just because parents are not talking to them about it. Or maybe they are, and it's, you know, telling them, stay away from that. They're getting it at school. They're hearing it on the internet. You can't keep them from it.
Yeah.
And that's my concern, is it's everywhere. Like, can't escape it if you try.
Yeah, I think you just educate your children then. Like, educate them and teach them. This is cliche, but like, teach your children the right way, because if you don't, the world will.
They're going to teach them the wrong way.
Them their way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, I learned, I grew up in church, and so sex was just frowned upon. You know, they beat that horse to death. And still do. You know, sex is bad. We all know this, outside of marriage. But for me, I made a decision at a young age. I'm going to wait till marriage, because I don't want to give my body to just anyone. And it's not fun when, you know, you give your body to somebody and then they don't stick around. It's not fun if you give your body to somebody and then you become pregnant and they leave you.
I feel like it's your body, it's your whole soul you're giving it to.
Exactly.
You're allowing someone to
take,
yeah, basically, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Men too. They give their giving their bodies to women. The woman is taking something from him, and same thing with women. And the thing is, we talk about this in our private time off camera, but Black childhood is tainted with sex. It was for us, and it's true for kids nowadays. You know, there's just, I mean, we were listening to Pretty Ricky at the age of what? How old were you? I think they came out when I was like 11.
7?
Yeah, exactly. 7 years old, singing butt naked on the teacher's school desk. Literally, that's the lyrics. Yeah. And it's just very explicit. And you know what I'm saying? I don't remember if I went looking for Pretty Ricky, like how I discovered them, but it was music and it entertained me, and children love to be entertained. So granted, the adults in my life could have done a better job at censoring what I was listening to. But at the end of the day, it was so easy to access that. And it's on platforms that appeal to children. MTV, BET, whatever, you know. I don't watch that stuff as an adult. I was into it as a child. You know, I'm not saying no adult is into it or that is wrong. It's for grown-ups if that's your thing. But the point is, it's not for kids, but it appeals to kids. And so I discovered it, and Pretty Ricky taught me more about sex than my mom ever has. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean when I say entertainment is raising our kids. Music is raising them. TV, social media, and has a bigger impact.
Because I feel like it paints an image of the children of who they really not.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So,
it's a fantasy.
Yeah, so it's and I've been a follower when I was a kid, so just knowing that kids, we all don't have no kids. I don't have no kids, but we all have nieces and nephews. And
eventually, you do, right?
We pay attention, but I forgot my line.
You're talking about, like, I think you were gonna say like taking responsibility for the kids, or
taking responsibility for the kids.
I forgot my line.
I forgot my line. It's just I forgot what I was saying, but
you say you have nieces and nephews and things like that.
Yeah, like they watching.
Yeah.
Us as adults.
And listening.
And listening.
Yeah, kids are like sponges.
Yeah, absorbing.
They're
all of
definitely, yes, absorbing and paying attention. And I feel like adults sometimes we sleep on that, not paying attention to what we say. I even witness it myself, or maybe sometimes I do it as an auntie. And,
get caught slipping.
But as us people, we need to like realize what we say or what we doing in front of our kids or our nieces and nephews.
Sure.
And just guiding them to, you know, who they are, who they here to be, and not the world, and not what's in the world. And
or of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of songs and artists and things like that, the lyrics, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm when I listen to music, I'm listening to the lyrics. Some people say, I just listen to the beat. But if you just listening to the beat, why are you acting like a gangster now after listening to gangster rap? Why are you thinking about sex after listening to sex music? You know what I'm saying? Like, these things, we need to understand the psychology behind music and the spirituality behind it too, because if it affects you, you know, in your flesh, it's more than just listening to a beat. You're not going to listen to the song without the lyrics. You're not just going to listen to the beat. I would rather that. But so we listening to lyrics. We don't listen to just beats. And your ears don't tone deaf to lyrics. And then you know every lyric. Like, my little sister's friends used to tell me, oh, we just listen to the lyrics. Because, you know, music just kept getting more and more explicit out. And by the time I was like 21, I was done. Like, I went to the oldies. I only listen to old school music now for the most part. Because of that, it being so explicit. But what artists do your nephews listen to, and how you think it affects them?
Now, probably one of them want to be a rapper now. One of them, like toy guns now. So it's really the guns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So one of them, I'm pretty sure, everybody has a problem. Not a problem, but he has lyrics, explicit lyrics in the Young Boy. It's like, I don't want to name the lyrics and go by the lyrics, but just knowing, if I just say NBA Youngboy, I feel like most people probably, some people don't know him, but far as in, I feel like most people do know him, to where that any song he has that's popular, it has splits.
It blows up.
It's I could bring up things in like what he says. I just thinking about it. It's just
There's literally I can't think of the brother's name, but there's literally an account on TikTok that says listening to so and so's music until I hear a crime. And he did like NBA Youngboy, King Von, and like other rappers.
It's like 0.5 seconds long. That's crazy. And it's like, why? Why are they promoting crime? Why are they talking about crime? They're rich now. Poor people commit crimes, right?
Yeah.
They're rich. Why are they still talking about crime? That's just promoting it at that point.
The excuse that they use is, well, I'm not trying to promote crime. I'm just rapping about what I've been through and the environment that I come from.
I'm going to call cap. I'm going to just straight up say BS, because there's so many other things you can talk about. And you know who your audience is. I work in marketing. I'm a marketer.
Yeah.
Okay? You have to know your audience in order to sell anything.
I would say, okay, why don't you rap about how you overcame those things?
Right.
If you're not already in them.
Come on. If you're not promoting it.
It's just like...
You're glamorizing that lifestyle to children.
Like,
you're glamorizing a life of crime to children, and people don't have anything but your music.
That back, because Lord.
No, I said what I said.
No, I'm just saying you probably like...
Well, I'm too loud.
You probably loud. So you probably scoot back.
Uh-oh.
Because I hear your voice. You know, it's getting very passionate. Okay.
God gave me this voice. Yes.
I do think...
what were you finna say?
I forgot. I should have picked subject. Or what else we got to talk?
So 1 in 4 black girls have been sexually abused. The statistics says will be, but I don't believe in speaking death over my people. I believe in speaking life. 1 in 4 black girls have been sexually abused.
In what? Like what, in a day?
Just as a population. So if you count,
Within a year or 1 in 4?
no, just in general. So if you take the whole population of black women,
Mm-hmm.
count 4, every 4.
Count every 4 or just 4?
So
I'm like,
so if you take the whole population, 1, 2, 3, 4 molested. 1, 2, 3, 4 molested.
oh,
1, 2,
okay.
3, 4.
Got you.
Yeah,
Got you. So how do you
And-
feel about that? So-
heartbroken, completely broken. Like I feel broken for little black girls, and I think that we should have got tissues. I think that the world hates them
Mm.
for no reason, for existing.
Do you feel like it's because of the black adult women, as far as in the image they shown, they feel
But-
like they don't like?
No, I don't think it starts there. I think that the women were those little girls that just grew up. So what I'm saying is my heart breaks for black girls and women,
Mhm.
but black girls, because it started there, and they're just so innocent and so unaware. You know, they just want to be girls like anybody, but then we're accused of having attitudes. We're not allowed to have bad days if you're a black girl or woman. Having being fast, you know what I'm saying? It's like everything we did was fast. Everything they do is considered fast in culture. It's just too much. It's like black girls have a lot of responsibility in their homes, like taking care of their siblings, because we're just responsible. Like girls are more responsible than boys. Boys, you know, gain that as they grow, or unless they're just really taught it and it's really instilled in them. I think from what I see, girls just jump into that. It was true for me. I had 3 knucklehead brothers older than me, and it was expected that I watch my little brother and do the dishes before my mom came home, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have that, and then we have the pressure of just everything is being sexualized. It's like, try to think of an example, but whatever the case, whatever it is, it's just like, oh, she's fast, she has a bad attitude.
Yeah,
Like,
and I feel like
she's just a girl, she's just a kid. Why can't it just be that she's acting like a child? You know?
Yeah.
And I think as women, like black women, do it to black girls because it's a cycle that repeats, not because it starts with them. But where does it start? I don't know. I think that our whole culture is broken. Our whole black society is broken.
Yeah.
And there's something seriously wrong with us as a people. There's a lot of good. Let me not just make it all doom and gloom. But as far as we're talking about molestation of black girls and boys and sexualization of black people, something is broken, and it's a cycle that keeps repeating, and it just, my heart just breaks. I can't even be on Instagram for too long because it's going to be a little black girl and my heart's going to break for her because I'll see.
Those women too, I feel bad for. We wasn't gonna talk about him, but Diddy's daughters, his twins, or even his other daughter.
Yeah.
I feel for them. Just
Why?
them not having a mother for one, and I don't know how it is being popular or having a dad and stuff like that, but just knowing, just having that feeling. They're still young teenage girls, and I'm pretty sure they feel some type of way. And I'm just hoping that it's something to where that they not adjusting different ways in what they want and what they considering wanted to do, and that makes sense.
Yeah. Shout out to Diddy's twins. I share a birthday with them.
And his other daughter. Well, he got 4 daughters, but yeah.
Who's the 4th one?
She's 1 year old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What?
Just Diddy, just why? Like,
Yeah.
just why? And it's like see, here's the thing that I can't respect about the devil and the devil in people. You have daughters. One is a baby, and you're doing this to other people's daughters? That doesn't make any sense. That's like essentially you saying you don't care about your daughters. You're creating a world that's not safe for them.
I don't know. It just don't make no sense.
None at all. None at
I
all.
don't-
But that's the devil. He operates in confusion.
Yeah, it just don't make no sense. I love to see men just cherishing their daughters and wanting to be in their life, or even sons and other sons, daughters, and I'm just seeing that it's a blessing. But
Yeah.
not seeing that it just sucks, just because I've been there before too, and just going through and I feel like I've been abandoned in my life. I'm not
Yeah.
saying my dad was a piece of, but
Right.
I love him and
Mhm.
all those things. But I can go further because it's deep to me as far as in my situation. But yeah, just wanting dads to be there for their children, or even just before, just knowing that you have kids. I remember your
Mhm.
friend. Boyfriend, he was just saying like just for all the men that need to really get out the streets or doing
Yeah.
these things and really look at their kids first before they do anything.
Yeah.
And most of all, like you're saying, it's the devil, it's the flesh.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they get up and be like, oh, like,
I'ma be a piece of
I'ma
today.
beat up I just think yeah, it's the devil's work.
It is. It definitely is. And he has too many vessels willingly to just go out and do that. Like, bro, think about your kids, and not only your kids, but all kids. Like, at what point do we as a community take responsibility for our children? Each one of us at this table is childless. We don't have natural children. But I feel a sense of responsibility for black children, because who else is going to be responsible for them? The cycle is just going to continue.
Yeah, because we witness it
We lived it.
every day. We lived it. We witnessed it. I see it. I see it.
I feel like we don't speak enough, at least speak, and do
I don't
enough
think we be
about,
honest enough. to
Yeah,
speak and hold
there you
each
go,
other
right there.
accountable.
and just about the issues that pertain to black children. And this is not all about children, it's about the adults too. But just in the black community, the things that happen to children, we don't talk about. If we know, if there's a statistic that 1 in 4 black girls have been molested in their lifetime, why don't we talk about that during our social gatherings? Or just...
I think if we talk about that, we have to talk about who's doing it, right? And most likely it's somebody, a friend of the families or a member of the families within the families. And black people, our way of dealing with someone who's molesting or doing something is we'll turn the other cheek because that's uncle or aunt or whatever, so and so, and we'll just turn the other cheek because that's family, and we're not going to talk about family and stuff like that. So I think it's more of that, why it's not really discussed in our groups. And then as well, some people might not want to bring it up because it's too painful for them they don't want to relive it, you know?
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. I think to your point about Uncle Ray Ray, touching on all the little girls in the family and thinking that is cute and no one doing anything about it because that's their uncle. There's zero tolerance for that. I'm with RZA. He said, bring them out in front of everybody and beat them to the inch of their life. And don't kill him, but beat him to the inch of his life. Like, we have to go zero tolerance on this. Period. Just, there's no other way. That you can't sweep stuff under the rug. And then what it does, the reason why people don't want to talk about what happened to them, not only do they not want to relive it, but now they feel ashamed. Now the child feels like she or he did something wrong because he or she was abused. And is, grandma going to believe me? Is mom, uncle, dad, whoever going to believe me? I mean, even as adults, it's like we can't talk about what happened in our family, what happened to us by our family members, because one, is anyone going to believe me now? Now I'm manipulative. Oh, now I make stuff up. Or now, I'm not trustworthy. Oh, I was a bad kid anyway. Or I'm playing the victim. Or, why are we like this? Why do we do this? Not everybody. It's not everybody. It's probably not even the majority. But I say we because even if it's in Black America, we make up, 13% of the country. So even a small portion of us, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. That's what Christ said. So even if there's a little bit of dirt, it's dirty. We got to clean. So.
Yeah, I just feel, even I heard a story of someone being molested and people be like, why you wait so late? Why you wait 2 years, 15 years, or 3 years, 4 years? And I waited until I was I think like 21.
Before you told your family?
When I came out and said it. I was about
that you were abused.
Yeah. When I 11, 12. So, like you saying, like, all those kind of people come in, or just family, you getting all those things, and you not knowing, like you don't want to come out really, or you lying, and and now you see who's really there for you, and as far as in that situation.
For me, it was different because I was 4 years old, and there was a babysitter's son, and my family knew about it. My mom knew because I had a problem. I was bleeding, and she had to take me to the hospital, and they told her what happened. And so they thought that it was the babysitter. And see, my point that I was going to make was I didn't talk to my mom about it until like 2 years ago. I'll be 32 in December. And she knew about it my whole life. We just it was swept under the rug. It's hard. It's like, that's not an easy conversation for my mom to talk about with her daughter.
To wait that long to feel comfortable
exactly.
to talk about it.
I still don't feel comfortable. I still feel like shaky right now just talking about it because there's that thing of what I was just talking about, the shame and the guilt and all that stuff. I think that's a spiritual thing that comes to people who have been abused, and we need deliverance and healing. But so it's already hard enough spiritually, but then on top of that, it's like my mom told me that her family ostracized her because of that. Her family decided they don't want to. Oh, Julie lies anyway. She be lying. So you don't know if that really happened. Negro, I took my child to the hospital and they told me it happened. And I'm going to believe the hospital and my child. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's that. It's like now she couldn't deal with her family no more because I was abused, So let alone talking about it, it's hard enough being a parent, a single parent, and then a single parent now completely on your own with no family because your family's ignorant. And I love my family, but they're ignorant. Because that shouldn't be the case. This should be a time where the whole family comes, takes this person, 4-year-old, point him out. Who did it? Him? We're beating the crap out of him, period. But it wasn't that. That wasn't the reality. Yeah, it's crazy.
I kind of was like, it's crazy because when it happened to me, I wanted it to go away. I wanted to go. So all I did was basketball.
When you say go away, you mean you didn't want to think about it yourself?
I didn't want to think about it myself because and at the same time too, I'm thinking what happens when I tell my family this? And I'm already assuming what's going to happen when I do.
What did you assume what happened? Crime?
crime,
illegal stuff.
it would have been so much going on that I had in my mind, like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And then at the same time,
That too. The child protects the abuser. Because my mom said I wouldn't even tell her what happened. The doctor told her, but I went mute where I was like, when she would bring it up back then, I wouldn't even talk about it. And that's probably why she didn't, bring it up until I became an adult. Like, I mean, I was an adult by then, but still, it's like she didn't want to re-traumatize me,
Yeah, for sure. So that was like something I wanted to go away. So it definitely it was haunting me for my 20s, just to come out and say it. And
I feel it because same.
Yeah, it was haunting me, and something just told me to just let it out.
You have to.
Even though I didn't like how it came out, I was like, so be it.
Yeah.
Move forward, and the people that were there are still here. My mom was there. My sisters was there. And on my dad's side, which was on my dad's side family, I actually went to go tell. They was a side that they didn't believe, or
that's crazy. Because he was on their side.
Because, he was on their side. He was actually dating. It's like a connection to where that it's crazy.
I know how it is.
Family,
yo, play
family,
uncle.
Play uncle. you.
He your uncle. You don't know how y'all related. He just your uncle.
He your uncle. He knows you since you was 12, and now you older now, and y'all
nah. You touching on kids. You the family creep. Because I can almost guarantee you wasn't the only one for yours, and I wasn't probably the only one with mine.
And have him knowing who he was around. It was kids around, girls around. So
it just has to stop that. Like, what's the solution? How do we protect girls and boys from being abused?
I think our generation has to talk about it more.
Yeah.
Not only talk about it, but demonize it. Because right now it's just being swept under the rug. But that was kind of like the old generation,
I agree.
Did you guys ever have at high school have friends who dated men?
Grown men, older men.
Grown men?
No,
and in their
adults,
20s.
Grown men.
Yeah.
And they're 20-some in their...
That's insane.
I don't know, maybe.
They had I did come to think of it. I had friends who had secret adult boyfriends.
I knew two women. One I knew, one I knew of. I kind of knew her because I kind of knew everybody in high school, but I wouldn't say we was friends or anything. But yeah, they'll come.
Women or girls?
Girls. They was my same age, and they would have. One didn't have her boyfriend come to the school, but she would talk about him and show pictures and stuff, and was he was in his 20s and she was 17. He was, I think he was 22, 24, something like that. And the other one, I don't know the exact age of him, but he was probably in his late 20s, 30s-ish. He looked like a grown adult to me.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if he was younger than that. But he would come and he would pick. This was when I was a freshman in high school too, and he would come and he would pick the girl up every day at lunch. I hang kind of in the front of the school, and I would see it. She would wait there for him, and he would come and get her for lunch every time. At first, I thought it was her dad or her uncle or some sort, and then she was like, no, that's that somebody told me that's her boyfriend, and I didn't really believe him until she said this.
Wow.
She kind of
that has daddy issues written all over it. It does, because now you're 14 and you said she was 14.
I don't. Well, she was around. She was either between 13 and 15.
Okay.
Because
so
I think she was either in my grade or a grade above me.
Yeah, it's She was definitely looking for a grown man to validate her. And I had friends like that too. I'm thinking of one that wasn't even black.
Yeah, I know
plenty
a
that
friend who was dating
yeah.
another.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
One of my little friends, I'm over there. I was so innocent. Like I was playing with dolls. My friend had a Bratz doll collection
But
that
at
I
the
loved,
time, like,
and I'm in her room playing with Bratz, and then she's outside making out with my big brother. That was dysfunctional right there.
I wasn't talking about her. I was talking about another friend, but yeah. Because that we was kind of like all kids then, but
okay.
But
my oldest brother, he was still at least a teenager. Older, yes, but it was just the fact that they were,
thinking about that.
Yeah, and engaging in it when I was like, we could be playing with
It's
dolls right
crazy
now.
Because I didn't think about it until like I became an adult. Like
that it was weird.
This is,
it's
really
normal
weird.
For kids. It's like, okay, go with the flow. But at the same time, there's some conviction because their parents didn't know. You know what I'm saying? They hid it from their parents, so they knew that something wasn't right about having a 20-something-year-old boyfriend, right? Or some parents they don't know where their kids at. They don't know what they're doing, and they don't care. They rather not know than have to deal with it. I think.
I still don't understand that. Like, how do you let your kid? I don't care if they are a teenager. You let them have some freedom, yeah, but you let your kids do like pretty much whatever they want. Wrong.
Not us. We was in the house. We couldn't even go to the
Remember
mailbox.
I used to throw like parties and stuff like that. Our first independent place.
You were about 18.
Sidebar. I was about 18, and I have two older brothers who I moved in with, and we all did our own thing, had our own place, and we did as teenagers would. We was throwing parties and stuff like that, and some parties. So the girls that was at our parties was anywhere between age 20 and 15. Mm-hmm. So it's like a 5 age gap with us. And it was weird because we was getting drunk. Like somehow, some way we got alcohol and we got drunk and we was getting
I think your
Stuff
oldest
that
brother was at least 21.
No, he was 20.
I didn't want to say his name and call him out right now.
He was 20. But yeah, we somehow, some way know somebody who knows somebody and get it, or sometimes somebody stole it and we were just
interesting.
Drinking. It's not funny. We shouldn't have did that and stuff, but yeah, that's what we.
I'm sure the police would love to know. He just admitted to a crime like all casually, like somebody stole it, and walked out the store.
Hey, whatever.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't me. But yeah, and the women there would get drunk, and their dads or the man who was dating their boyfriend will like pick them up, and they will be visibly drunk, and they just wouldn't care. Mm-hmm. I was kind of nervous because I was like, damn, this girl is drunk. Like we have to walk into the front of them and stuff like that. But I thought in my mind, like, damn, we might have to fight these grown-ass men because they're going to be pissed off once they see, their daughter or whatever, like all drunk and stuff. They didn't really care. They was like, oh, well, whatever.
But I guess they were being semi-responsible by like, hey, Dad, come pick me up. I'm drunk. So those present fathers were probably like, okay, I'm going to deal with this in the morning.
But it happened
every week.
Often.
Okay, I got you.
So it's like they didn't care. Like they knew what their daughters was doing, and they wasn't tripping out. They wasn't angry or anything. It wasn't like
whatever. Kids will be kids.
My mom going crazy.
And they did it all the time.
If you got drunk at that age.
Yeah, she in corners.
Man, my mom, I wouldn't be allowed outside the house no more. I know that much. Like, see, you went outside and you was acting up. That's why you stay inside. Let's talk about sex trafficking. We already talked about Diddy.
Okay.
So we live in Las Vegas.
The capital of sex trafficking.
And just sex culture.
Yeah.
I think that it all plays into it. It's like prostitutes. Whatever happened to Jada Pinkett was definitely going to do a documentary on sex trafficking, and I've never seen it hit the light of day. So I don't like why is the media trying to cover this up? That's a good question. I think I know the answer, but I'll leave it to y'all's imagination. Why is the media trying to cover up these things that are going on in our society? Are we just supposed to be oblivious? Like, sex trafficking is not a real thing. That only happens to, people who hang out with Diddy. No. Like, my brother, he's been outside in Vegas, and, he started using drugs and everything, and he just been out on the streets willingly. He didn't have to be on the streets, but, that's what drugs do to people. Don't do drugs. And he told, every time he would call me randomly and say, don't talk to these Negroes, don't go nowhere with nobody. You live in Vegas, stay in the house. Don't even go to the Strip. And I ain't gonna lie, it worked. He freaked me out. I don't even go to the Strip because whenever I'm on the Strip, I'm looking at everybody sideways. Like, yeah. Like, I be looking at and just taking mental notes of how everybody's like, I get paranoid, but rightfully so, because he was telling me how easy it is to basically get involved with sex trafficking in Vegas. And same thing, I used to live in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years. And we did this sex trafficking rally. It was mostly, I think, the Nation of Islam, but just black activists out there. Riza Islam was there, some other people I could name. But and we went to the Atlanta airport and, protested until they shut us down and was like, we'll put all you niggas in jail. Don't mess with us. So, we left peacefully, but that's the thing. Atlanta has the biggest airport in America. So there's a lot of sex trafficking that goes through that airport. So that's why we went impromptu to the airport to protest sex trafficking until they told us to peacefully leave before, they got their batons that they like to use on black people. Just kidding. But in Atlanta, sex culture, I'm gonna just call it that. There's this huge strip club culture, prostitution, things like that. I can't speak on, anything that I don't know about too much because all this stuff is hush hush. It's like you really have to dig to know what's going on. But even just being a kid in Atlanta, which I was a teenager when I moved there, and I saw it. There's strip clubs everywhere, just booty, booty, booty. Like, that's the culture in Atlanta. That's part of the culture, and it's glamorized and glorified. And women want to go to the strip club and just hang out, and just it's a vibe. It's fun, and I'm not knocking anyone. I am, but I'm not. I am because it's like I'm not going to the strip club, But to each his own, to each their own. But it's too glamorized and too common, and then sex trafficking is all tied up in that. So I would be okay if we close down every strip club in America tomorrow, but that's not going to happen. So I don't think that's the solution. Well, maybe it is, but it's there just has to be a way to make it safe. I'm tired of thinking about sex trafficking every time I leave my house. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if these are things you think about.
I don't think about.
That's because you can fight.
I didn't come back for that, but
I'll be scared taking Ubers and everything else. It's scary being a woman.
Yeah. Did you hear about that stripper?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think.
I said too quick because it was another lived Uber story of a young black girl, a young black woman recently.
They said she was a stripper, and she called an Uber, and then her Uber driver ended up raping her, and then she said she said something about his body or something, and then he got a gun and he killed her, and then he after someone. They called him
Oh
and
my
stuff
God.
like that.
Yeah, no, that's
he's
not
in
the
prison.
story I heard.
But yeah,
And what city was that?
Vegas.
Jesus. See? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not taking no Ubers out here.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think the solution is that every woman should have a firearm, a government issue
Yeah, I agree.
firearm and mace.
Mess around with me and find out. Feel me?
Yeah,
That's all I'm
I
gonna say.
ain't gonna lie. In my Uber, I was an Uber driver. I have my gun right in between my thighs.
Yep.
Literally. Or
Yeah,
in
keep-
something to cover it to where I'm not freaking no one out. But I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I mean,
You can't trust people.
Me at this point. I
Yeah.
gotta take my gun with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be all right.
Yep. But the strip clubs and prostitution just plays into sex culture, and it. I wouldn't be surprised at the next presidential election, whatever black woman or woman of color they have as a candidate, because there will be one at some point again, because that's the standard, right, for being president. You just have to be of color and woman at this point. Just glamorizing sex culture and normalize, oh, prostitution should be legal. Like that's where it's headed. That's going to be the next thing. And
Prostitution should be legal.
it's legal in Vegas,
Really.
but not federally. And we're not there yet, but we're further along
And that's what
into
I'm
it
talking
than
about.
we were.
Like that goes into what I was saying earlier. Why do like sexualize promiscuity, even though we could see the negative effects on it and stuff? Why is it preached as liberation, especially towards black women?
Because the devil. And because women are broken and find sex as liberation because they don't know their true value and worth.
I would say that as well. It goes back to childhood. It goes back to if dad's in the house. It goes back to if mom's in the house. Just not getting the attention they want, or from their parents, or just
Yep.
not having a parent, and just choosing, what benefits them, what gets them to where that I want to do this, or I like this, or let me just do this. And
I agree,
I really, and I feel like that I feel like why they have a choice of that is because of their childhood, their parents, or just not having the guidance.
Yeah, like girls get their sense of security and identity from their fathers. That's what we know based on psychology. And the culture, when I talk about sex culture, it's so glamorized. It teaches young girls your true value is in your body. You should make an OnlyFans. You can get money from it. Your true value and worth is in how you perform sex. And you can enjoy it. So you should do that. Like, that's very liberating. And it's like, no, I have plenty of value and I'm a virgin. So there's that, but the strip clubs and the prostitution, it just becomes normalized and then it seeps into pop culture. And then now it's like the highest paid and highest, I won't say prestigious, but
why do y'all think women that have kids as well, when they strip at strip clubs and stuff, why do y'all think they go there first? It's so many other options to go to. Why do y'all think they go? It's fast money. That's one of them.
And validation.
Yeah, I don't think it's more so validation at strip clubs. I think it's just the money.
I don't think that they have any, I don't want to say self-worth, but no anything else to do, or it's just fast money that they could do, whether they're bartending, because not all do they. Basically, they do. Does the bartender have clothes on or not?
They were very.
She's a stripper.
Outfits, yes,
so, but my thing is the validation, because like she said, why do they go there so quickly? Like that should, you would think that if someone's stripping, they don't have any other options. That's not the case these days. We know girls and women who have just as many options as Nay and I do, who came from the same place as us, who turn to the strip club very quickly and young because they feel validated. It's like men are celebrating them and paying them. Like men are showing them some type of value. And so I think it just goes to teaching them their worth as young girls. Like I'm young, I'm 31 and a half. But but I grew up with, I would say, low self-esteem. But at some point I learned that my value, even in my childhood, my value is not in my body and sex. It's my mind, how much I can attain. I was very smart, you know, so I was celebrated for that. And I don't think a lot of us have that, you know. It's like, look at the statistics. Black girls are right behind black boys with being sent to special ed. That hurts their self-esteem. I've never been in special ed, but I've failed in school, you know. Even though I was smart, I struggled, and that hurt my self-esteem. And so it's like, okay, if I'm not book smart, I can't sing, can't dance, like at least I can take off my clothes. So it's not just about money. There's a deep issue because plenty of us have been broke and have not turned to stripping, you know, and plenty of strippers are not doing it just because they're broke. They're doing it, yes, fast money, but also.
Do you feel like it's survival? It's for survival mode.
Yeah, I think. I think that's
Plays
true
a part.
for Black people,
Survival
the
mode.
Black community in general. They go on survival mode and they don't
think.
learn to strive or to
Build.
thrive and not
Yeah.
just build, because a lot of it's built like the hustler culture and stuff like that.
Right.
A lot of it's built on survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I agree. Survival mode, yeah.
And once you get into that mode, you're not thinking of your future. Really, you're just thinking of the now, pretty much, and how you could get it now. And some people do it by any means, whether it's scamming, whether it's stripping, whether
This is
it's,
not what Malcolm X meant by any
Whatever,
means necessary at
It
all.
all leads maybe to sin.
Yeah. Yep, poverty. But it also, now what we have, because before it used to be a shame, and this is the other thing, shame only, when we put shame on people, then they, if you notice, everything that we've condemned in our society, like the things we're talking about, strip clubs, prostitution, sex, are now being celebrated because it's like, oh no, you should be proud of this. You shouldn't be ashamed. And same thing with being a baby mama. It used to be such a shameful thing, and now it's celebrated. It's like, girl, you don't need no man. You know, I know people who literally said, no, I won't say, but it's just so much in the culture where I would rather be a baby mama than deal with, because ain't, you know what, like N-words ain't ish. So but I want a baby. That's our culture nowadays. That's our culture. N-words ain't ish, but I still want a baby. So I'd rather be his baby mama. And then some are like, I'll put him on child support. Some are like, no, I would never put him on child support if he don't want to take care of his kid. You know, I'm not going to force him.
Very toxic.
It just, the more we talk, the more toxic it gets. But all we're doing is exposing it, revealing it. No, I know what you meant. Well, I'm just saying the whole conversation is getting toxic. But that this is real life. Like, are we making it up, or is this real? This is very real. So now we have a child support culture. There's a video of a little girl who said, I forgot if she said she wanted to have kids or something like that. She didn't want no man. And they were like, oh, what do you want to do for work? She was like, well, I can just put him on child support. That way I could get, she said the dollar amount, like, I'll get $1,200 a month for, you know, like a little girl.
That's crazy.
And, yeah, like, let's talk about child support while we're on it. I feel like it hurts black men and it hurts black women when they don't have it. and then it hurts black men when they get on it. Like, it's just not a good thing, because while it holds men accountable somewhat, maybe it stops them, like, okay, makes them think twice, like, I'm not going to have sex with this woman because I do not want to impregnate her and then be on child support, because child support is a real thing. Like, Kanye West was just ordered to pay
40K? Is it 40K a month?
I'm about to look it up. I think it was 20,000.
I think 20,000, 40,000.
Yeah.
I need to take some more of RZA's pills, because I be forgetting stuff. $200,000 a month. This is America.
I was waiting.
And they're both billionaires. See, that's the thing. That's
I
the
don't
thing.
get
That's
that.
the thing with child support that I'm firmly against. If I can prove that, or if a man can prove that I'm in my child's life day by day. I don't just throw my child money and stuff like that. Like, I'm actually in my child's life. I supply my child with such and such. Why I could still be ordered to pay child support? Like, a woman could still pay me on child, even if I'm in my child's life. I'm doing all of these things for my children. A woman could still say,
father.
hey, you're still going to be on child support. I think that's kind of messed up, because even though I still have to pay the child support, but because I love my child and stuff like that, I'm not just going to stop doing for them and be like, well, I pay your mom child support. Take it out.
If I'm paying $200,000 a month, I am.
Well, yeah, right. But I'm
Just kidding.
saying for like the average
Yeah.
person, if your daughter comes to you or your son comes to you and wants some shoes or something like that, you're not going to be like, oh, well, I pay child support, right? If you're, you know.
My dad is average, and he says the same. I'll be like, hey, now that you're in my life, can you help me with something? Nope, hit your mama.
Right.
But at the same time, using that example, I get it, because if we do away with it completely and America just decides child support is done, then now we have the parent who didn't leave struggling to take care of the kids by themselves, and that's not fair. So it's a mess. Like, America never seems to have the right solutions that where everybody can win. Like, just pick your own cotton. That's the solution. Pick your own cotton. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm not sorry, but sorry for the outburst. But I'm not sorry for that either.
Yeah. I think child support is
Whatever happened to getting married?
I think people nowadays think it's overrated.
What do you mean overrated?
They don't take marriage as seriously as they did back in the day.
No.
Okay, so what are the factors?
They just getting married just to get married, just to say they married. They just want
That's a
actual
fact.
title.
Some, yeah.
Yeah, huh?
No, I mean, it could be that as well, but I'm just talking about they don't take marriage as serious as we did back in the day. Like, back in the day, not a lot of people believed in divorce, no matter what. Right. And then there was like, no, because there was too many women that was getting mistreated in divorces, and then no fault divorce came. And then, when that came, I think I don't know what the divorce rate is, but I think the divorce rate is much higher than it was back in the day. But I think it's because people don't want to work out their problems. People.
When it get hard.
What's her name? Was it Niecy Nash that got divorced from her husband? And I think she was celebrated. I think she's with I don't know if she still is, but I think she's with a woman now. But yeah, I don't think the concept of we just grew apart or we just did this and that. No, like, if you're married to someone, that's a commitment for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. So unless you're being abused or something, or being mistreated, that's a whole different thing.
Right.
But unless that's happening,
which with most divorces,
you should strive to fix it. And I don't think it's constant work being married. Marriage is like constant work, a constant battle, because it's like two when you think of it from a
Biblical.
biblical standpoint, it's two souls trying to be joined as one, right? So that's a battle in everything, and living with the person, and it's just a constant battle. And I don't think it's being taken as serious as it was back in the day. If you look at older people, I'm talking about like 80 years old or what have you, and you look at their marriage, they've been married for
80 years.
Since
the time they were born.
Yeah, since they was young too. And that's because it's not because they didn't have battles or problem. It's because they chose
know how to work them out.
They chose every day they woke up and chose their wife and their husband.
Okay, so
but I don't think that's happening. People are now saying, well, this is how it makes me feel, and they think of themselves, and they don't go to, I don't think enough people go to counseling and saying, like, how can we work this issue out? They just say, well, this is the way I feel, so I'm thinking of myself and I'm putting myself first.
Okay, so from that aspect, so marriage, the whole concept of marriage is just not being valued. So
no. Well,
when did that get lost? And
people don't have, I think back in the day we had more of a biblical perspective of when it comes to marriage. Now people don't have, even though they will go to a church and get married under a priest and have a big wedding and stuff like that, they don't have a time. And I think as well the concept of marriage is like more people think about the wedding more than the actual marriage itself. And so they want the concept of
look, come celebrate with me. I'm doing a thing.
A celebration, but the romantic kind of ideal list of a marriage. Yeah. And when that sort of fades and stuff, and you have to deal with the person,
right?
It gets overwhelming.
It ain't so glitz and glamorous.
Yeah, and then I think it's called stacking. When you don't really get to the root of the problem, you just deal with it enough. Let's say you deal with like 60%, 50% of the problem, and then that other 50 you just leave out. And so that gets stacked up, and then when that gets stacked up enough, you start to lose patience. You start to things that are, some people could say are small, or, it seems to get stacked up and you lose patience. And some people can even get depressed because it feels like, well, I'm stuck in this and we can never get over this hunch and stuff like that. So they don't really deal with the real issues. And it also takes, I would say it takes two people to make that commitment. It's very important.
At least two. It really takes three, because it's not working without God.
True. But I don't think it's very important. Marriage is like the most important decision that you will make in your life.
Yeah. Well,
besides
accepting Christ.
Turning, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Man, you said it all. I mean, I think people would argue that there are plenty of other reasons, like financial, and that's a huge cause of divorce and things like that. But my thing is, I agree with you, because if the foundation is love, we don't need money. Sure, we do, but we don't need money to make our marriage work if we love each other enough, and that's the reason why we're married. So all those other reasons, it's just like, do you love me? Like, listen to the vows. People are too quick to make, you just made your vows to God, to me, before God, and then you're, what happened to sickness and in health, richer or poor? What happened to all of that stuff? Like, no, once you make that commitment to me, I'm gonna look into the camera, because of whoever my future husband, if any, you make your commitment to me before God, you're keeping it.
Right.
Amen.
I was gonna say with that, people don't take their commitments and the vows seriously. They just be like, "Oh, this is part of the ceremony."
Do you have no fear of God? It's just a ritual. Like, no, you just made a commitment to me before God.
For example, right?
That's enough said. Like, if there's no more for you, I mean, if go on,
Go ahead.
Like
continue.
for example, in this woman's vow, it went kind of viral. It's kind of, I think it's kind of old now. It was like 2 months ago or whatever. But a woman said that, oh, this is the day that I could finally give up my pursuit or something about dating Chris Brown or something, blah, blah, Chris Brown. It was a joke, but it was kind of serious because in her photos that she puts on Instagram, her photo albums of the wedding, the first picture was her and Chris Brown, her in the picture of her and Chris Brown that she took at his concert. That was her first photo of her wedding. Didn't have anything to do with the wedding, but that was her first photo. And it's like, why is that even there? It's like, do you have
Any respect for your husband?
First of all,
I hope he has a good sense of humor. Because
I don't know if she was trying to be funny or something like that, but it's like, why
I would
joke
hope so,
about
'cause that's
something
crazy.
so serious?
Okay.
I think they'd be serious because of who
I
he
think
is.
I think it's a little. I think she was a little bit serious, but it's like, come on, like, and then
Put it
like
on social media, probably.
nobody told her like, yo, this isn't the time. Like, I know you're trying to make a joke or whatever, but like,
Yeah. Okay, so abstinence. While we're talking about sex, marriage. Is abstinence being celebrated or not?
hell no.
Okay, so are there men out there who do celebrate it?
No. Although I think there's men who respect it, but I don't think they would want to be with a woman who is unless they are
What?
as well. I think
That's
there's
insane.
I think there's
You would
men-
rather I have given my body to somebody else?
I-
Or are you
it's
saying
not
I
that-
would rather
It's not that they would rather you give your body to somebody else. It's that
they want to have
want
sex?
it.
Okay, I got
So
you.
it's like, well, if you're not going to give it to me, like I'm not going to abstain.
So I see what you're saying. So basically, it's like, oh, that's great that you've been abstinent up to this point until you
Yeah.
met me. Now I would like to have sex with you
Yeah.
because I'm not waiting until marriage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so being a virgin is valued for men, but abstinence is not.
Pretty much.
I feel like there are men who are abstinent, but maybe that's just me being a hopeful person, hopeless romantic. I think that some men
Well-
will celebrate abstinence,
I see
and
a guy on Instagram. He celebrates abstinence.
but that's on Instagram.
Celibacy.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, celibacy. You know,
Celibacy and abstinence are two different things.
say that.
Abstinence is when you abstain. It's
Until
like an
marriage.
No, celibacy is when you abstain until marriage. Abstinence is when you just abstain.
You're wrong.
Okay.
I'm not about to look it up. No, in fact, I am.
Go ahead.
Because I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If I don't, I'm going to edit it so the people think I'm smart.
And say whatever. I don't know what
What do
The
you
practice
feel
of
about it?
restraining oneself from activities that are generally considered pleasurable, such as sexual activity, alcohol, drugs, food. Maybe you're right.
What do you think about it, Nick?
I don't know what it is.
Abstinence, like abstaining from, like, what do you think
Celibacy.
about this society or our communities doing? Do you think?
Do I think they want?
What do you think about it?
Dang, he was
The
right. So
abstinence?
celibacy. So I'm celibate.
Yeah, that's what I said. I know I'm right.
I was
don't
talking to
have to give
Nay.
you
Yeah, right,
validation.
your side.
I was talking to Nay.
Now back to
The question.
Abstinence. As far as in that meaning.
Well, not the meaning itself,
Right.
but like, what do you think about, like, in general? Do you think?
Is it considered like someone absent? I'm like, what?
Being
what is it?
being abstinent is abstaining from
Yes,
sex.
Nay.
It's
Okay,
abstaining-
Is to be
Well,
absent.
on this
from
topic.
school.
I'm like
Literally,
asking for
I know.
It means abstinence means just being abstinent from sex in some definitions, I believe, is being like sober, like you don't do alcohol or drugs or stuff like that. But in this conversation, it's, let's just say sex, right? So being abstinent is you're abstinent from sex, and that's without like marriage, or like you're not getting married, you're just complete abstaining from sex altogether.
So celibacy. Let's talk about celibacy, because I think everyone here at this table is celibate.
So what do you think about celibacy? What's your thoughts?
Waiting to have sex until marriage.
For me, celibacy. Of course, I'm waiting until marriage, but for other people, I have no idea. For me, yes, celibate.
What was the question?
You asked the question.
Is it being celebrated or not?
No.
That was my question.
Yeah.
So you don't.
That's y'all too.
So if a woman is practicing celibacy, you don't think that. You think it would be hard for her to find a man that says, I celebrate this, like this is honorable to God and to me as your future husband, potential future husband.
Unless she's in a church or in some type of religious group that also believes that, yes, it's going to be hard.
I would agree with you.
But I
because
think it's hard for men too.
I'm single and I'm 31 and a half.
I think it's hard for men to find
women who value celibacy.
Unless they're in a church or a religious group who believes in that, and she's a part of that religious group. I don't think you could go out here and find.
Well, the sad part is
that would be like, yeah, I'm abstaining from sex too.
At least
because
in the Church of Christ,
abstaining from sex, they're getting it somewhere.
It's hard for women and probably men too. Well, it's hard for women to even find Christian men who celebrate celibacy. I had a dude that told me, well, wait until marriage, that's just like putting sex on a pedestal. Excuse me? I put my body on a pedestal.
You should put it on
my body is definitely on a pedestal. And I'm not giving it to you. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's my body.
I think people should.
Well, I think if you decide, not to shoot dope, you just putting your body on a pedestal. Like, that's how you sound. What are you talking about? Of course I do.
They think it's very impossible to be a virgin.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a virgin, a proud one.
Does not have sex. Like, I remember telling you about the dude at my job. He told him that I'm a virgin and I'm not having sex until marriage. And he was just like, what? Why?
He said what? Why?
He's like why? Like, he
just don't get it.
They just, they just don't think it's impossible. They don't think it's possible.
I'm like, okay, to each their own, but like, at least celebrate me. Like, I think it's beautiful that I'm waiting. At least, like, be happy for me. Like, why is that? Maybe it threatens people because it makes them feel like they're doing something wrong or something like that. That's the vibe I get whenever I talk about it. If it comes up,
you can stop now.
Yeah, they could, but they don't want to. So they rather tell you that, you're doing something wrong. But to me, my husband's going to be celibate. And there I go being hopeless romantic again. Well, we're going to practice it together because, he ain't getting it from me. So, but I find that even if he wasn't until he met me, now we're going to practice that until marriage because that tells me that you have control over your flesh. And if I know you have enough control over your flesh, I can trust that you won't cheat on me during our marriage. You know what I'm saying? And you should trust that I have the control over my flesh to not cheat on you because I abstained for this long. I was celibate for this long. So that should be honorable and celebrated at least by your spouse or future spouse, when you meet. But just thinking in the culture altogether, like, why wouldn't it be celebrated? It's just like if someone never did drugs or alcohol, that should be celebrated.
Yeah.
So, it takes away every insecurity I might have that, okay, are you going to cheat or do you have control over your flesh? If I know that you can abstain for that long.
Yeah.
And I know that you're going to teach my sons to respect women for things other than their bodies. Like, it's hard for me, and just seeing how what's normalized in our culture, I wonder if men truly know the true value of a woman apart from their bodies. And how are you going to teach my son to value women, you know, or me as a mom, future mom, if I ever have sons? How am I going to teach them to respect women if I don't even respect my own body, you know? So
Start right there.
it starts at home. It definitely does.
Get to the root.
Yeah. And kids mimic what they see, not what you tell them. So, yeah. Well, any last words?
Stop sexualizing me. Stop it.
Look, if you keep your shirt on,
I don't like being sexualized.
I don't think men should take their shirts off.
Really? Don't do that.
I'm just starting an argument. We're not going there.
Because, yes, take your shirt off.
Why? You're sexualizing men right now. You realize?
Well, my husband, sorry. Let me just rephrase that.
That's different.
Okay.
He's taking it off for you. Are you okay for him taking his shirt off for other women?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. So stop taking your shirts off, men.
No, take your shirt off. I'm just playing.
I'm tired of going into a restaurant and a woman asking me at the counter, what can I get for you? I'm like, whoa, I don't want you. I'm just here to get food.
I mean, you got to contain them, Brandon. You can't just...
It happened when I was with RJ and I was like, hey, he's married. So calm down, back off. Damn. Can't go nowhere.
She was thirsty or something?
Thirsty as hell.
Thirsty.
No, he was thirsty and she wanted to know what he wanted to drink. Another topic, like I was talking to a friend today and she was saying that, you know, they sexualize WNBA players just for doing their jobs. They're not coming here to show off their bodies. They're not coming here to, you know, be sexy for you. They're just coming here to play basketball. And they got men.
NBA, I mean, how are they being sexualized?
Yeah, on the internet.
Okay, but like, what are they saying to sexualize them? Like, what's the...
They're commenting on their sex appeal rather than their ability to play basketball.
Okay.
Yeah. We all just need to pick our own cotton and take care of our communities. And we're gonna end here because I don't have any more notes, and we done already said it all. This was a very heavy topic. We try to lighten it with humor here, as you can tell, but you know, everything ain't a game, ain't funny, and our generation doesn't take anything seriously as it is. You know, but laughter is good for the soul. But we really need to start taking these things seriously because we're cooked. We're cooked if not. And I don't like being cooked. I like to be baked.
Raw.
Just kidding.
You like to be... Okay, never mind.
You know what I was talking about. But not that either. Not anymore. Won't you do it?
Yeah.
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 So follow us. We update our Instagram regularly. YouTube, subscribe. I don't know why you guys are watching and not subscribing. That doesn't make any sense to me. Because how are you going to know when we get a new video so we can bring joy into your lives if you're just watching the video and not subscribing? Subscribe, guys. Like the video because obviously that helps the algorithm. I'm going to find all you Negroes who not liking the video and not subscribing. But just join the revolution. It's not a movement. Movements only last a moment. But join, like, pick your own cotton. Do something. Press a button. But don't let that be all you do. Subscribe. You know, we want to bring change to our community. We want to make sure that little boys don't grow up to be like Brandon. So.
No, make sure they grow up to be like me because I'm an upstanding citizen of America.
Subscribe. Love y'all. Family. Y'all. Peace. They's been ready to be done. YOC.
Pick your own. Pick your own.